Is March too late to start a temperature blanket? Probably, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and in today's video, I'm gonna be talking all about temperature blankets. Now, you may have seen temperature blankets around before. They've been around for many years, and honestly, I've been wanting to create a temperature blanket for so many years, and every year I put it off, I forget about it, I don't do it. I don't know why that is, but this year I decided I was gonna do it. Now, when I decided to do it was a little bit late. I decided to do it on March 4th. I went to Michael's, I grabbed all my yarn, and I just decided today's the day because I was sick of putting it off any longer. So I got all my yarn and I started, and I'm loving it so far. So I wanted to talk to you guys about what a temperature blanket was and what I'm doing for mine this year. So if you've never heard of a temperature blanket before, basically what it is you're going to create a blanket, and you can either do it with rows, you can do granny squares, you can crochet from the center, or you can do a corner to corner stitch. The options are endless for how to create a temperature blanket. And basically how it's going to work is every row is going to correspond to one day of the year. And the color of that row is going to be dependent on what the average temperature of the day was for that day. Or people do highs or lows, or they'll do the high and the low for the day. So options are really endless for what you can make with a temperature blanket. The other great thing about temperature blankets is that you can do it for a year, so from January to January, like I would say most people do, but you can also do big event years. So you can do your first year of marriage. You can do from the day you got married to your first anniversary, you could do a temperature blanket for, or you could create one for your child's first year of life and you can give it to them on their first birthday. Or you could do it for anything, your own birthday. If it's a big year, maybe it's your 30th or your 40th, you can do a temperature blanket for that last year of the decade. So the options are honestly endless for what you can create with a temperature blanket. Now, to be honest, you don't have to crochet every single day to keep up. Honestly, I don't do that. What I tend to do is I'll wait for maybe the whole month, and then I will pick a day and I'll just crochet for the whole day, and I'll catch up to whatever date it is, and then I'll wait another month or at least a few weeks so that I can do a lot of crocheting in one day, because my life is just too busy to crochet every single day. Now for coloring, everybody's a little bit different with this as well. That's the great thing about temperature blankets. You can do really bright rainbows if you prefer that, or you can do soft pastels, you can do a warmer tone fall situation, or you can do all neutrals like grays and beiges and everything like that. So the options honestly are fully endless for what you can do. So for my temperature blanket this year, I decided to do TL Yarn Crafts 2020 Bias Granny Square temperature blanket. I just think it's so stunning. I didn't really want to do the specific rows like a lot of people tend to do. I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I thought granny squares was a great way to do it. And I just think that granny squares look so great. So on her website, which I can link in the description box below if you're interested in seeing, she has a whole blog on how to create the granny squares. And also within that blog, she talks about how to do the join as you go method for granny squares, which honestly has helped me so much, because with this specific blanket, you don't want to get messed up with your days. If you just crochet a bunch of granny squares and put them in a pile to attach later on, you may forget which day is where, and you're not going to get a true picture of what your year looked like for temperature. So I'm going to show you guys what my temperature guide is. So basically, this is my temperature guide that I created. Now, what it is I live in Alberta, and it's very, very cold here. Sometimes in the winter time, it can get up to -30 with a wind chill, potentially -40. So I had to adjust my guide for that. And in the summer times, we can get up to the 30s, 35. So again, I had to adjust my temperatures for that, but you can create your temperature guide based on what the average temperature is in your area. So I decided for the hot weather, I wanted to do oranges, pinks, yellows, and reds. So my first one is this orange color, and it's for anything that's 25 and above. The second color is pink, and it's for 20 to 24 degrees. This beigey color is 14 to 19 degrees. This yellow color is for 8 to 13 degrees, and this red is for 3 to 7 degrees. Now on the other side, I have all my blues, my grays, my greens, and my beiges again. And this is all for the colder temperatures. So for this navy blue, it's going to be 2 degrees to -3. For the gray, it's going to be -4 to -8. For this blue here, it's going to be -9 to -13. And for this green here, it's going to be -14 to -19. And then this white beige color is anything that's below -20. So that's the chart that I'm using. So basically how it works is every day you're going to look at so for me, I'm doing the high of the day. So whatever the highest temperature was that day is what I'm going to crochet my granny square. So I'll look at the high. So let's say it's 8 degrees, I'm going to crochet that day yellow. Let's say it's -10 degrees, I'm going to crochet that day blue. And you basically just go through that as the year goes on. And what you'll notice is the color of your blanket's going to change depending on the colors that you're using for the temperature. So I'll show you what my temperature blanket looks like. So this is my temperature blanket so far. So basically what I've done and what TL Yarn Craft suggests is to crochet one white center for the first of the month. So this is the first of the month of February. This is the first of the month of March. And basically what that does, it allows me to know exactly where I am in my blanket. And also in 10 years, I can look back and be like, oh, okay, well, this is January down here. So then this must be February. So then this must be March. And I can kind of follow along to see what the days were looking like. So far for my year, we had it was actually kind of a warm January for us this year. So we had lots of the 3 to 7 degrees, which is that red, and the 2 to -3 degrees, which is the blue. And now that we're getting into March, we're getting more into that cold weather. These green squares are -14 to -19. This gray square is -4 to -8. So we're kind of getting a little bit colder now that we're into March, and I'm hoping now that spring is here, we're going to warm up a little bit. We're going to start to get into those summer months, which is going to be the really pretty oranges and pinks and yellows. So that is my temperature blanket thus far. I am a little bit behind. I'm on March 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm only on March 7th, so I have some catching up to do, but I'm gonna be posting a lot about my temperature blanket over the year. So if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments down below and just follow along so that you can see how my temperature blanket ends up at the end of the year. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!